Neat.
So trippy in here, bro.
Wow. Boy, you filled that glass all the way to the brim.
I do it every time. So
I don't know where to stop.
I pretty much can't move it after I fill it up. That's good. That's keto coffee right there.
That's some of that good. I just want to take the time.
Yes, Lord.
Think.
Yes, Lord.
You walking in that valley. It's dark. But then you see that light. We all know who that light is.
There it is. What is it?
Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I felt it.
He's always there when you
I
need
felt
him.
it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bearded Cactus. Another episode, another day. I'm Julian.
And I'm Stephen.
And he's our co-host for the day.
Just for today.
Just for the day. Maybe next week. We'll see. But
today we're going to be talking about... I don't like this guy looking at me. Let him eyeball you.
Elroy. Sorry.
Is it Elroy or Leroy?
It's all the same letters.
Leroy Jethro Gibbs.
We'll just name him Royale the next
NCIS.
week.
Oh, legally. We're talking about what it means to be a man.
A man. A man's man. A woman's man.
We just grab a woman and you're
You
like,
just-
hey, I'm a man.
Listen, I'm a man. You she-devil from the devil.
It's illegal to hit a woman. Did you know that?
Like in any situation?
But it's not illegal to shake them until they pass out. Get
It's-
that sense in them.
Is it illegal to put a chokehold on, a rear naked chokehold?
I don't think a shake is assault. They got that, what's that? Is the baby shaking syndrome, but it's woman shaking syndrome?
Oh, really?
Where you shake them too hard and they just like...
Lori, I've been trying to tell you.
And then they finally shut up.
I don't want onions in my soup.
Like-
I would do that.
Like, do you think you're like a chauvinist?
Yeah, for sure.
You do?
Definitely.
Like, I don't have my wife make my sandwich. I want it done right. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Like,
I get it. I get it, bro.
I know she's like 5 minutes in and she's already like, oh, I'm going to kill him when I see him. By the way, shout out to my beautiful wife. I love her so much. She listens to every episode.
She's a trooper.
She literally comes back and talks to me about all the episodes, and she gets mad when we have regular conversation instead of getting to the point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, we're not a bunch of robots.
Golly.
But
If you don't like it, don't listen, Jesse.
Yeah.
Turn it off right now. Turn it off. We know you'll be back either
several
way.
episodes.
Several
Several episodes. We talk about Epstein. He didn't kill himself. The times you would say, if anyone out there is Jesse-minded or something, I can see it on her face every time she's like, "Oh yeah, what now?" And I forget that you say it.
I don't have to live with her.
I know. What's the point?
I'm going to say whatever I want. I don't have to live with her.
It's fine.
I just see her occasionally in passing.
When she's hiding when we're doing a podcast.
Yeah. So I ain't worried about it.
Sometimes she feeds you though.
She does.
Sometimes.
So I don't know. We'll work that out.
Not this episode.
Yeah. This episode's all about shaking women.
That's right.
What's the proper way? What's the ratio from head to brain? Back and forth. What's the quickest way?
If they can get in car wrecks and be okay, I think it's all right to just kind
It's just like a car wreck. That's all
of
it
shake
is.
some sense into them.
Nice little gut punch
Now-
now and then, just to let her know what the what for is.
So I was watching the Hodge twins, and they were talking about some guy asked if he was a chauvinist,
Yeah.
and he was questioning whether he was or wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I commented, and I was like, "I'm not a chauvinist. I don't slap my wife. I think that's disrespectful. I treat her as equal, and I punch the crap out of her." And then what did I say? I said, for all those getting upset, I'm just kidding, mostly. And then I said, what did I say? I don't whoop her with anything wider than my thumb.
Yeah, that's that rule of thumb.
I said, I stick to what's fair.
What's fair?
I don't think she's below me.
But she dang sure ain't above me either. So, hey, that's what they burn their bras for,
It's
isn't
like
it?
every time it's like blinding me right there. In the eye.
It's not hitting me.
It's like it's just one little time. Is it hitting my? Can you see it hitting my?
I see it hitting your face, not your eye.
I can see it going. Ting,
I think it's because you got glasses on. It's refracting the light.
once again, glasses are the worst thing. I cannot keep them clean.
Contacts.
That's worse.
That's what I'm wearing.
I always get something in my eye.
How often do you get things in your eyes? It was obviously not
Every
helping.
day.
You wear glasses, and that shields your eyes. You still get stuff in
Yeah,
there.
but if a contact's in there, it can hold it in there and scratch my eye holes.
Nah.
Is it my iris? What's the one with the color and the one you
That's
see
a
out
Goo
of?
Goo Doll song. That has
Iris?
nothing to do with eyes.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. I used to sing that at karaoke. Man.
Aw.
Yeah.
You got all them 56-year-old lot lizards looking at you, huh? Like,
Hey, man.
If you want to come home with me tonight.
I was a smoker too, so that wasn't
oh,
that wasn't a deal.
It didn't matter.
That wasn't a
We'll
deal
both
killer
we'll
right
both
there.
have smoky kisses. It don't matter. You breathe your smoke in my mouth, and I'll breathe it right back in yours.
That tastes good.
I love camels.
I was about to say camel.
Was that Marlboro 100s?
Girl.
You know, a way to my heart.
You like to keep it 100.
Yeah. Woo. Straight to my lungs.
Yes, America.
Chauvinist. Am I a chauvinist? What's the definition of a chauvinist? Because
Let's look
I've heard different definitions. Now I know the traditional sense. Well, I don't even know if it's a traditional sense, but what people like to say is like.
Here's the definition of chauvinist: a person displaying aggressive or exaggerated patriotism.
That doesn't have to do with the
Aggressive or exaggerated patriotism.
So does that mean that all
So are we using the word right then?
Democrats are chauvinists?
If they're aggressive, what's your form of aggression? Like,
So then it says adjective. That was the noun, the noun one. The adjective is
Adjective.
showing or relating to excessive or prejudiced, loyal, or support for a particular group or cause.
huh? So have we been using the word chauvinist wrong for
So a particular
towards women the whole time?
particular group,
Particular group. Okay, so if we're treating
excessive prejudice towards them.
excessive prejudice towards, okay, so I guess it could be towards women. That's a group of humans.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I guess. But I mean, I think there's a lot. See, like let's go from my personal experience. My wife does not want to do a man's job. She is okay with that.
Most women don't. Let's just, I mean,
Well, let's categorize what a man's job is, like what I'm thinking in my head. A lot of women, and this is like a slash on my pride, but a lot of women are photographers.
okay, yeah.
But I'm a photographer.
I've seen mainly men photographers.
Depends on what you're
throughout
doing.
Throughout my life,
Like
I've
I feel
seen,
uncomfortable doing newborn photography because of baby's nakedness. So women are allowed to do that, but
Right.
men would be like, "All right, pervert, what's your
Why
underlying
don't you
reason?"
Why don't you want to take pictures of naked babies?
'Cause I'm
Are you a pervert?
I'm prejudiced towards them.
Maybe I'm not a pervert. Maybe that's why I don't. I don't know. I know what you mean.
But you know, like
yeah.
But yes, there are
it's
a
just
lot of
kinda
guy
like-
photographers, like weddings, or there's
Yeah.
for some reason a lot of fashion male photographers. I wonder why. Like Victoria's Secret
Oh,
male
honey,
photographers.
they just act gay. I would act gay.
Yeah.
I would be like, yeah, I'm straight up gay, but I would act like I am, but just like not act gay.
What's that Adam Sandler movie?
Just
I,
say
now,
gay.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Chuck and Larry, yeah.
Where he's with that woman, he's like, I've never done anything like this before. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. That's a smooth
Because I know
move.
that, but I
And
guess
bold.
there are different, I guess, forms of gay men
Yeah.
because they're not all like feminine. Some of them are like just like, oh, they look like us.
Like the Bears.
Yeah,
They're the ones that
is
all
what they
work
go?
out.
They got all.
I think the Bears are the bigger.
They got different names for them.
bigger guys. Yeah, the Bears are like the big burly guys with the beards and stuff. But now the other
Living
ones
in the
I'm not
Midwest, with their
wherever.
flannel.
If they got a beard and they're bigger, they're usually called Bears.
Called a bear. Okay.
Like on The Office, where they went to that gay bar to do the what was it? All of them went.
Oh yeah, they did that trivia challenge.
Yeah, trivia, and they were these group of guys. They were all wearing flannel. They were called the Berenstein Bears.
Okay.
That's why they were called
Okay.
it. Yeah, because they're called Bears in that
Yeah,
community.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. Thanks, office.
Dunder Mifflin, people, person, paper, people. Intro. Speaking of intro, don't forget to check us out at thebeardedcactus.com. You can check our YouTube, our merch, and every podcast episode we put out, it populates automatically in there. So be sure to check it out.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Yeah, don't forget to stop by YouTube. Leave us a comment. Hit the little sub thing. Put the bell notification on so you can see when we put out new videos like these. We are right now in the middle of brainstorming about new videos to put out, funny stuff that we had done before when YouTube was just being birthed.
Boom.
And we took them down for unnamed reasons.
Yeah.
We could have been YouTube famous, but
we would have been YouTube famous.
Because my dad even thought they were hilarious, and he's a tough cookie to win over.
That's a hard cookie to crack.
We'll probably end up revamping them and making them more appropriate,
viewer friendly,
because they were pretty funny.
They're pretty funny, but some maybe some male nudity was involved, possibly
the higher parts of the back cheeks.
Yeah, and in the front there might have been a male thong in there. I don't know. You know,
you'll never know.
I'm not pointing any fingers.
Yeah, it was all him. He had no tan lines.
I'm comfortable in my body. That's all I'm going to say on that. All right, whatever.
And that one, I was a chapstick salesman.
I don't care. Yeah.
I think we did all those in the same night, didn't we?
I don't know if it was the same night.
We were on a roll.
It was like within like the same like month at least.
Yeah. So sub to our channel so that you can see when we put new stuff out.
Yeah.
It will be very soon.
We're going to get that. We're going to get that going. So if you don't want to sit here and watch an hour-long podcast, we get it. I got it. You know, not everybody has an hour in their day that they can just sit down and watch something, unless you're like binge watching something, acting like you ain't got an hour. You got an hour.
You got one.
Everybody got an hour. But either way, we're gonna put out some shorter stuff, funny stuff. You know that it's gonna be better for y'all. It's gonna be good for us because we're gonna have a fun time. So
yeah.
When it comes out, y'all will know, and we will know.
So, being a man, I think the being a man definition of our parents and us is not the same. Do you agree? In some ways.
Yeah.
Actually, in a lot of ways, I think.
I think so. I mean, when it comes to my view is, well, we'll go back. Well, I'll just say a little bit about what like my dad did, my view as a man growing up was. Yeah, you know. So other than like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger and Predator and Sylvester Stallone, be like, yeah, that's a man.
That's how you get rough cut and you know what you're supposed to do.
That's a man. He just goes out and he just beats up everything, and then somewhere along the way, like a woman just swoons over him. Yeah. And then they end up together, but then she dies, or he just never sees her again. That's a man.
Or he sleeps with the housekeeper. Wait, that's real life.
That's real life.
Oh,
Maria!
Okay, but
the nanny.
The comical thing to me, ironically, is that he would do all these movies, and then when he was governor, was against guns.
Yeah. Weird.
How can you? Isn't that like kind of a double standard? Like wouldn't you not be in a movie that you didn't support?
Maybe he's just like
overall themes?
I'm cool with pretending to use guns. I don't know.
Everybody pretends to use guns when they're kids, I guess.
I guess so. It's just weird. But my like, I wasn't taught how to be a man, I suppose. Like, I was never taken aside. I mean, like, this is what, you know, this is how you're a man. This is how you treat women. This is what a man's role should be. Yeah. And all of that. So it was just learning from just what I thought a man should be. And
do you think you got a lot of your definition from movies? Like that rough cut, like
I would say sure. I mean, it's not necessarily like I'd like consciously thought like, oh, well, this is what a man is. But at the same time, you see certain male figures like on TV or in movies and stuff. And if you're not
John Wayne
it
was like one of the big ones.
If no one's taking you aside and tell you don't listen to the movies, you know, don't listen to all this other stuff, just, you know, this is what a man is, okay? Then I think if those are your heroes and stuff, then,
Clint Eastwood,
right?
Another one,
and not even that, but you see like like my main thing was either like movies or musicians. So you see like rock stars, like, oh yeah, that's the life that I want because they look like they're having the best time of their life. But
because they're on drugs.
Yeah, drugs or drinking, one of the two, or at the same time.
All
all
the
at
above.
once, all of it. And so you see that like, man, that's got to be the life right there because they're always like on tour buses and they're all, they always have like
to hang out
these
with their
women
best
around.
friends
Yeah,
all the time.
they're making music. They play like maybe an hour of music a day, and that's their job.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. I can get into that. There's always women around, you know. So that is what I like when I was like getting older. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go after because that just seemed like that was what happiness was.
Yeah.
So
I think my definition of being a man was shaped by, some may call it a chauvinistic attitude or responses to things. And I end up doing the same thing to my boy. If he gets hurt,
yeah,
walk it off, be a man.
Yeah.
Or quit acting like a girl.
Yeah.
That.
Right. And I think some of that is healthy to an extent. I mean, because I think you do have to raise your kids that no one owes you anything.
Yeah.
If you want something, then at times in your life, there are going to be people to help you out and maybe give you a leg up or
Those
something.
are the ones you rob and take the stuff you want.
And that's fine.
okay.
That's a man.
You're earning your way.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do for you and yours. But then most of the time you're going to have to put in the hard work. You're going to have to put in the long hours. You're going to have to look into things that that are time consuming and it's not necessarily fun, but it's going to get you to where you want to be. So that, I think with that, a little bit of people are so worried. Okay. I think we live in a weird time where we give like participant ribbons out, like, oh, you didn't win, you didn't place or anything, but here's a trophy. And it's like, oh, you're still a winner. It's like, no, you're not. You lost. Actually, you came in dead last.
If everybody wins, then there's never the competition isn't there anymore.
Yeah, and you see, I think a little bit of you need some of that competition to drive yourself to be better, because if there's that constant, oh, well, you're fine exactly where you're at, then why would you ever want to leave that spot? Or why would there even be any motivation to get anywhere beyond that?
And coming from a Christian perspective, like, that's what the Bible teaches, that we will never be good enough.
Right.
That's kind of like, if you think about it in the wrong mindset, you could be
if you have the wrong mindset.
What do you mean I'm never good enough? But, I mean, we always need to be striving for that next level, next, it says to strive to be perfect like Christ was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect is a serious word.
Yeah. It's perfect.
But if we have these goals and we have something to strive toward, then we'll always be on the path to better ourselves.
Yes.
And I feel that that's what a man should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I've talked a little bit about before my first marriage, but like her definition of a man, when I said I wanted to start doing photography, and I got all the equipment, it wasn't taking off, but I was here and there where I would get jobs. Right. And I did the overselling where I would do something for free and over deliver like way too much. Right. And my mom's like, you undersell yourself so much. Right. Charge them what you're worth. Yeah. And I didn't know that at the time. Now I know that. Yeah. But
I think that's another thing that as far as like what you are involved in, because people are like, oh, well, how much am I worth? I think that's a topic for another day.
I didn't have a regular job, and her dad raised her. Mm. He was working. He worked at the railroad. Yeah, but the one in Palestine.
Yeah. UP.
Yeah. Standing up. And, sorry, that was a dumb joke. UP standing up.
I got you. I was like, what is he talking about?
I don't pee standing up. I sit down when I pee.
I lay down when I pee. I don't care where it goes.
And so she would get mad at me for trying to pursue a dream that I had and a passion that I had, and told me that I wasn't a real man because I didn't work the job like her dad did. Right. So I think we base our definitions of what is right, what is a man, what a woman should do,
Yeah.
And see, she didn't fill the role in my head. And I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago when I was telling my story. But she didn't fill the role in my head what a woman should be.
Right.
Like working full time, coming home and taking care of the house.
Yeah.
That sounds chauvinistic, but that's what my roles were that I was looking at when I was growing up.
Right.
That's what would happen. My dad was a provider. My mom would work as well. Sometimes two jobs.
Yeah.
Maybe even 3 one time. If there's a lot of jobs to do at the church, and if it's a smaller church, you end up doing everything.
Right.
And so it was a serious redefining moment.
Yeah.
When I was getting told by someone who was supposed to love me that I wasn't
Yeah.
a man.
Right.
And then now, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again because I'm proud of it. Now I do what she told me I wasn't a man doing, and now I provide, and I'm the breadwinner in the house.
Yeah.
So slap you in the face with
Well,
my
see,
pride.
I think that's important. I think that's important to say. I fully believe, and I think it is the responsibility of the man. Like if to be a provider, I think that is our role. I don't believe in like a stay-at-home dad.
I was about to ask that. Like, what's your opinion on
Yeah,
that? Or what if that's the way they're helping provide? If they're filling in the blanks of what needs to be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just something a mountain that I'll have to overcome, but it would be hard for me to have a respect for a man that was like, well, I'm going to let my wife work and I'm going to stay home and take care of the house.
So you're talking about he doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
Type deal.
Right.
Gotcha.
And I understand, like, and I'm not getting into like, oh, well, my wife earns more than me, but he still earns to make a living and all that. I don't care if your wife makes more than you, then okay, good for you. You don't have to work as hard.
There was a time that she did.
Yeah.
And it was the time where the church couldn't afford. They hired me on full time to match the salary from my machinist job.
Yeah.
And then with less than a year, had to cut it in half because the money wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, and the photography wasn't taking off as well as it is now.
Right.
And it was a very, very tight time in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And see, this is the definition that I was living by is I didn't feel like a man because I wasn't the breadwinner.
Right.
Like in my head, no matter
Right.
if it's right or wrong, this is
Right.
how I was seeing it.
Yeah.
Like that was my perspective that I wasn't making the money like I was. Mm-hmm. And then I couldn't spend what I wanted to spend on like I wanted. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm still earning money, but I'm not earning the same. And we were cut very thin, and it was a very tight year, and it was a redefining of what the man part looked like to me.
Yeah.
Because I was bringing in money, but I was also at home.
Right.
So was I the stay-at-home dad? I mean, I'm the one at home all the time.
Right.
I mean, yes, I am bringing in money.
Yeah.
But now I bring in probably twice what she does, and she's on salary.
Yeah.
And I'm still at home all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Take it, Jesse.
No, don't take the money.
Don't take the money.
That was what I was seeing in my head that I wasn't making, and so I felt bad. And I didn't feel like a man. I didn't feel
Right.
like. I in my mind went back to my first wife who told me
Yeah.
that because I wasn't doing what she thought, and so in my head, I'm tearing myself down, and my wife now never says anything about it.
Yeah.
She never said, well, why aren't you going out? She never once said anything
Yeah.
because she didn't look at it that way.
Right. Right.
And her dad at her home was her mom wouldn't work, and then she would a little bit. It's like right now she doesn't. She just watches our nephew, her sister's new son, and she watches the kid, and that's all she does now. She quit her regular job and started doing that.
Right.
And he was always the breadwinner. He has a really good paying job. He works like crazy, stupid hours at Delic Oil Refinery, and like they'll have like 4 or 5 days of 12 hours, and then they'll switch to
Yeah.
nights, and then they'll go back to this. And it's like,
Yeah.
I can't do all that.
That's crazy.
But,
Yeah, I know people that work weird schedules like that.
But they pay him really well to do it.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't really have to work that much. So I'm thinking in my head that because her dad has been this example to her, that now that I'm making a lot less, that all of a sudden she's going to not want to be with me just like my first wife did.
Yeah.
And so my self-definition of what I should have been as a man was I wasn't measuring up to who I was supposed to be.
Right.
And it was a really tough spot for me. And I don't know if I even ever talked to her about this, but emotionally, get emotional. I felt like I was not the man that she deserved.
Yeah.
Like I had a good job when we got married. I only had it a couple months, and she married me, so that's all her fault.
Hey, whatever.
But I stayed there for, it was either 3 years or almost 3 years, and then went to the church and then got cut in half. It's like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I mean, I already had the photography equipment and I was doing jobs here and there, but it didn't take off like it is now.
Right.
But it was a low time for me, just because the definition that I have been raised on, that the man is supposed to be the head of the home and all this stuff. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, because I'm not making the money,
Right.
more money than she is, I'm not the head of the home,
Yeah.
which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
In the raw sense of the definition of what a man is. It doesn't have to do with dollar signs.
Right.
It has to. I think personally, from what I've learned and redefining my definition of what really a man is being there for your family emotionally and physically and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three things right there that will keep a family together,
Yeah.
keep a family strong, and the money stuff is just kind of a bonus. There's always a way to make money.
Yeah.
And the reason I know this is because I'm doing it.
It's because I'm making money.
Like, I'm online.
Yeah.
Corona, I started my job like right before Corona hit, or my online store right before
Yeah.
Corona hit. And it is literally taken off and just went like this through Corona.
Yeah.
People can't go out and shop. Where are they going to do it?
People don't want to.
Online. And so there's always a need for something. You just got to figure out what that need is and
Right.
master it.
Yeah.
And so that's been helping me, I guess, feel more like a man, because I'm being entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like that discovery.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
back in the day, you know, you have a bunch of land that no one's ever been before. You're like, let's go, fellas. And you take your family and you're on the road and you're pioneering.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of feel like personally.
Yeah.
I've like in 2020, I told my wife this, and I told her it's the year of vision for me. It's so stupid because it's 2020. But
Yeah.
I was like, I feel God's put a lot, this podcast, my other podcast, photography took off, and then the online store stuff. And I'm like, there's no reason why I can just sit back and not do anything and then whine about not having money.
Right.
And there's no saturation of market. That doesn't exist in online stores because there's always a lot of stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. And so I've kind of reshaped how I view myself.
Yeah.
But it's given me like a sense of like my manhood again a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's what I'm, you know, my phone went off just a minute ago, making a sell.
Money, baby.
And it's like, it makes me feel good.
Cha-ching!
Even though that's not a good way to base your self-worth, it gives me
Right.
a little bit of boost. You know
No,
what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So I ranted on quite a bit about, but that's, I mean, this whole like circling arounds helped me redefine
I get it.
my vision of
I get it.
who I am, which helps me in return to feel more like a man because I'm doing
Right.
something instead of just sitting and waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Being proactive.
Sure.
That's a part of being a man too. Being proactive and not just like, in my opinion, from what I've experienced and what I went through, that, I mean, from living in my car to now owning a home, to now having all these other things that's going my way because I'm not giving it a choice.
Right.
I'm tackling it with everything that I got.
Yeah.
And making my money work for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's a boost to my confidence, to my manhood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And making me feel like
Well,
a good provider again.
And at the same time, like with all of that, I mean, I think you're only going to start to feel good about yourself when you start trying to do something, and you're going to experience some success and you're going to experience some failure, but you shouldn't let that failure keep you from driving you to get that next success either, and be like, oh, well, I failed at, I didn't sell my shirts, like I should have. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop altogether. It's like, no, rethink it and be like, how do I make this work? What is it that I'm missing or not doing in order for this to be successful, in order for that to make something for me, And I think too many people, they witness a little bit of failure or it doesn't happen quick enough for them, and so they just stop. So it's like, oh, I did this for a month and I'm just not going to do it anymore because nothing's changing.
See, 2 or 3 months when I started my store, it didn't start taking off till maybe March.
Right.
But I found that in business, in your relationships, whatever, you got to stop trying to fit the circle peg in the square hole.
Yeah.
And find the circle. Find
Yeah.
the one that works. Like, don't just keep trying to, because
Right.
the way
you're
you
trying
see
to
things,
force something
Yeah.
that it's not designed to work that way.
It's easy to get like a picture of what a man should be.
Yeah.
Or what success looks like.
Yeah.
And then you end up trying to do the square in the round, and it doesn't work.
Right.
And so you have to change your tools, shape that baby square. You know, do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
figure it out.
don't just let it. Just don't keep doing the same
don't
thing
keep
over and over
trying
again.
don't.
Because all it takes is one time to be successful to then start getting momentum to keep being successful.
Yep, that's true. That's true. You experience that one successful thing that is like, oh, well, this just pushed me to like 3 levels ahead. Like I wasn't even trying to do that, but this is what happened. And so from there, you're like, okay, now I've got all these new challenges that I've got to navigate through, and it's just like it's going to keep going. You know, if you're wanting to keep making yourself better and you're wanting to keep going further with it, then it's going to, you know. And like I said, yeah, you're going to experience them like, oh, well, that idea didn't work out like I wanted it to, so let's not try it that way anymore. Let's try it a different way. So, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure.
Being a man, being in relationships, being successful, to me, it's like you start off with the small child, and you have to go through these developmental stages to get to where it can actually function on its own and be its own entity, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like I never thought that these stupid mullet hats that I sell would be my main income, but like last month alone, it was like $5,000 of revenue that came in just for the stupid hat. And but I just because I thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
If it sells, it sells.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Doesn't matter if you think it's dumb.
Yeah.
If everybody else likes
If
it,
they
then
like
that's
it,
what they want.
Who cares?
Yeah.
And if mullets are coming back, then now that I found something that works,
As they should. Mullets.
Way to the back.
Mullets should never have died in the first place.
but now that this is selling well, it gives me revenue to then take it and try to figure something else out. And then see what works over here until I have this one working too, and this is taking off over here. And then now I have two. I did a lot of research on how to be successful and blah, blah, blah. And what this guy on YouTube said, the people who have money that are successful with their money, they don't have one way that they're making income.
Yeah.
They have multiple channels of income.
Yeah, I've heard
I'm
that.
like, man, okay.
Heard that several times. Yeah.
So that helps too.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing. Like because I listen to certain podcasts, and one podcast I tell you, it's about musicians and everything and how they make their money and everything. But I mean, in today's like environment and the way that the world works now, like you can't be just like simply just a musician and that's how you just make your money. You know, if you want to be successful as a musician, first, you got to be a good musician. Yeah. But then you see all these musicians that today that are actually, you know, well known and they're actually people know them and all that, and they're making good money. It's because they're marketing themselves for everything that they do. You know, they're not just a guitarist anymore. They're a guitarist. But they do photography, they do production, they make YouTube things, they have, you know, online classes and courses and all of that. So they're not just, all of it's related to music, and they're still a musician and they still make part of their living as a musician. But that's not the only way that they are making money as a musician. They're making money in different ways. Yeah. So. And there's so much that goes on with it, because now you can't just simply be a good guitarist anymore, because there's so many of them out there now. And it's not like there weren't any before, but now there's more ways for people to find out about you. And you can put out your own music, and you don't need a record label anymore. Like the days of like a record, like, oh, trying to get that record deal. You don't need it. Like you literally don't need it, because if you know how to do all the stuff that a record label can do, then what do you need them for?
All you need is send it off and get it mastered, and that's it. Yeah,
that's
a lot less money.
And even
than studio
that,
time.
even that, like you don't even have to take that to somebody. Like if you're say you are in a band, and one of the 5 or 4 or however many you have in your band knows how to do that very well, okay, then they're going to do it for free for the band. Yeah. So you literally don't even have to do that anymore. I saw a guy, and he posted like like a record label staff and how many people were involved in the making of a CD or whatever album, and everything. And then he had like his, and it was just him and his girlfriend. And then he's already been like #1, like on the Billboard charts and all of that with no label at all. It's just him pushing his stuff, doing everything by himself. It's just him and his girlfriend. Like his girlfriend films everything. His girlfriend does all of that. And he may hire some people to like do some editing and all of that, but he's not tied to any label or music industry kind of thing. And he can just market himself and does
saves a lot of money.
Yeah, and he gets that's all going to him. There's no like 8 middlemen that he has to go through. He does it all himself, and he gets all the money. And at the same time, he owns his music too. Yeah. Like whereas you sign on to a record label, now they own your music. You can make all the songs that you want, but they're going to be getting money off of those songs, over time. And if it's a popular song that gets played on the radio or Spotify and all that stuff, then they're getting a cut of that, and you're getting kind of like what's left over of that cut from that cut. So
yeah, it starts like chipping away at the money quick.
Yeah. So I mean, we live in a time where all the knowledge that you want to know about something specific is out there.
Yeah. And usually for free.
Yeah. A lot of it's for free. Sometimes you have to pay for it, and it's kind of like a fast track to getting that knowledge and information quick. That way you don't have to spend so many hours like researching and looking up different people. So people put out stuff because they're 100% knowledgeable about a certain area, say like as far as like business, you see people like say like, oh, the five fast tracks to making a successful business. It's like, okay, but if they were smart and those were the actual only 5, they would be selling that information because that's how they would make money off of it.
Yeah.
So some people, you sell information because it is valuable, because it has worked, and it is going to, in the long run, bring you money, or it's going to bring you in some sort of cash flow. It may not be your only way, and it may not be your most successful way. So I think it all goes back to like knowing your worth.
Yeah.
And as far as like, okay, I have a certain amount of knowledge that I spend a lot of time accumulating that, and I've put it into practice, and it's made me this amount of successful, whether it be like money or whether it just, it's opened up other doors for you to have a different kind of success. So how valuable do I view me having that information? Can that information bring someone up and help them out? Is that information that someone's willing to pay for? And if at the end of the day you're going to be like, yes, then okay. Then you need to figure out how much that information is worth and how much you need to charge for it. And like I said, yeah, you could spend a lot of time on YouTube and reading stuff and figuring stuff out. I think that's going to take you a lot more time. Whereas if someone already has this knowledge and they're talking about it specifically, and they're like, just, pay me $15 for this course, and it's going to fast track you ahead of all that. Whereas, okay, this $15 is going to save you 15 days and 15 hours. It's like, oh, okay, then I'll be 15 days ahead of where I would have been.
Yeah, people spend money on stuff to fast track, to hurry and get the knowledge so they can start making money.
Right, and that's my viewpoint. I'd be like, okay, if I'm serious about this, if I'm really wanting to try and go this way with my life and try and start this business or whatever it is, make a, what do they call it, active income or passive income?
Passive income.
Passive income. So if I'm trying to do that to where I can make my money make me money, and I don't necessarily, I can kind of quit this full-time job that I have and just start doing something part-time, but then do this also, and that way I have financial freedom, You
didn't buy that shirt for me, did you?
I did not.
Okay.
I don't remember when I bought it.
Okay, because I have that same one in my store. That's why I was like, that looks familiar.
And I broke into your store and I stole it.
That's fine.
I broke into your online store. I broke the internet like Ralph.
It happens. And I was like, I didn't remember having it in blue. Okay, sorry, interrupt.
You should, though. You should have it in blue. Isn't the sign blue? I thought the sign was blue.
It's possible.
Okay. I think it's definitely worth your time and effort to go ahead and pay for information if you're serious about going into something, That way you save yourself time having to research and watch so many videos, where if somebody specifically is like, I've got all the videos for this, I've got all the blogs or whatever it is, everything, and you have access to teachers that have helped me with this, then I'm all for that, because you're getting specific help from specific people that have been in the business and know how to do what it is you're trying to do, rather than watching some YouTubers who are they got mild success. They're not necessarily successful, but they've had some success with it because maybe what they did has worked for them during that specific time, But if you see people that this is their life and this is what, they've been around for a while, so they know what trends to look for, and they teach you how to look for those trends and spot them and all that. That way you can kind of be ahead of the curve before it even happens. Then I think that's worth spending your time paying that money and getting that done. That way it'll help you out in the long run. But
so what you're saying is make your own definition of being a man.
I don't think a man is lazy. If your role, I don't think we can bring it back to, I guess, the Bible in that sense. I don't off the top of my head know anything specifically that says that a man has to be the sole purpose of financial income. I was trying to say money, but it didn't come out. Financial money. So I don't know anything there where it says specifically that a man needs to be the sole financial provider or just a financial provider in general. You do see about a man being lazy. If a man is lazy and not willing to do anything,
I think it has a lot to do with the not being able to. Like the women not being able to pull in money the way that the men could in the Bible days.
And
so maybe that's what we're basing a lot of it on.
It may be so, because
the Bible says.
I think now, I mean, just to be honest, let's just be real.
Real.
Okay, because there is a physical, biological difference between male and female. Are some women stronger than other women? Yes,
like
of
eyebrows?
course. Yeah, and some men are weaker than most men. That's just that's the exception, not the rule. Yeah. Okay. So, like where I work,
like the head of Antifa.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be scared of that little skinny bird-looking thing. You know what I'm talking about? The big old long neck.
I haven't seen him.
Oh, you should look him up.
But I've seen.
He's not scary.
I've seen people.
The lady that was interviewing him on TV was like, "Well, if you came at me, I wouldn't be worried about you," like to his face. And I'm like, "Oh, that's funny. That's real funny."
Got him.
Yeah.
But I mean, where I work, okay, where is it that the women work? They work in the office.
Yeah.
Because women. In the office. Now, am I saying that women can't do what I do? Not at all. I believe a woman can come out there and run a crane and keep up the same way that I do. Yeah. I believe that they can. I'm not doing something so physically impossible.
Their makeup would run, though.
Yeah, that a woman can't do. I weld. Women can do that,
There are some women that really enjoy doing that kind of stuff.
I've just never seen any out there what I've been doing. Because it's not that they can't do the job; they don't want to. They don't want to do it, and I get it. I don't want to do it a lot of the time because it sucks. It's like, it's hot out here.
Yeah.
It's nasty. I come home sweaty and stinky every single night. So
speaking of which,
oh gosh.
Okay, so a few episodes ago, if you listen, you know that Julian promised me, and he promised you, that he was going to go home that day and apologize for his attitude towards his wife. Did you do it?
Yes, I did.
Did you really?
I did, 100%.
Really?
100%, I fully did.
What happened?
I don't know if it was like as soon as I got home.
My dad taught me, being a man, you apologize.
I get it. And that's true, too. That's part of being a man.
Big one.
That's part of being decent in general.
Being able to say you're sorry.
Yeah,
that's a pride thing, but a man
It is
can
a
say
pride
it.
thing.
Yeah.
It is a pride thing.
It's hard.
And it was hard on my pride, for sure. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a man.
Men don't lie.
Men don't lie.
I like big butts. I cannot lie.
I ain't telling no lie. Girl walk in. Never mind. Anyways, I got home. Okay.
I couldn't swallow. I couldn't laugh. I did it again.
I got home, got settled and everything, and then went in the bedroom. She was sitting down. I approached her. I sat down next to her.
Hey, girl. I got something to talk to you about.
Girl, I move.
Is that your hair? Run it through.
That's her hair. I move.
I thought you were casting a spell on her. Hey, girl. Hey, sprinkling water,
I went all-
baptizing her.
Expelliarmus on her. Listen.
Doing all Trump. Hey. Here's what's going to happen.
You do a great job.
Hey.
A very great job.
Hey, you're amazing. You matter. You're my wonderful wife.
Listen, I said some
You're
things
wonderful.
that I wasn't,
Do the whole thumb.
whatever. Yeah.
You're doing great.
There's
You're doing
good.
great.
there's-
Everything is perfect.
I believe that there's good people on both sides of this marriage.
Particularly you. You're good.
Particularly
You're
you.
wonderful.
I mean, I don't do a good Trump impression, but whatever. It sounded more like Kip from from Napoleon Dynamite.
Whatever.
So no, I did. I did apologize. I took her down. Took her down.
Took her down.
Like
Got her by the neck.
it was like a deer that had been wounded. So
Not
I
today.
try to put it out of its misery. Why won't you just die?
Kids, help me. She's getting away.
Sat her down. I told her I apologized for everything that I had said and what I was wrong for.
Did you have a tone? Did you have the
I
right
did.
tone?
I had the right tone. The right tone was very, very apologetic, very less of me, more of you, all of that. I wasn't.
Yes, Lord.
I wasn't trying to be, any. I was just real straightforward with it. I was like, look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said those things I said. I've been prideful. Didn't want to apologize. So I did it the right way. So
Good.
I did what I needed to do. And then now we're working towards healing and getting better.
So it wasn't like an automatic. Everything's perfect.
It's not. No. In
What's the point of apologizing?
in all honesty, it never is with her.
Now you just got in more trouble.
It's always a progression or something. It's a process. I don't think there is some sort of magic thing.
Growth is important.
Yeah, she wanted me to apologize so we could start working towards making things better.
Right.
So if I hadn't apologized, then we still would have been there, and it just would have progressively just gotten worse.
So you're making progress in the right direction.
Making progress for show. It's not like
Good,
we're like
good.
miserable and we're just like at each other's throat. I don't want anybody to think that. I'm just saying like we're getting better. That's all it is. Nobody's dying or there's no fist fights and everything.
No doorknobs.
You oughta.
She said she loved me.
Yeah.
I'm glad you swallowed that pride and
did.
stepped up to the plate like a man.
It's like it's tough. It's
Yeah,
tough.
it is tough.
Swallowing like a sticker burr
Yeah.
and it gets stuck in
One
your
of those
throat.
big gumballs.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
it?
I'm sorry.
Would it be easier if I just spit this out? Why do I have to swallow this? This is stupid.
Who came up with this?
This hurts. I think we are definitely in a different time of history than 2,000 years ago. I'm not sure if I get on board with the stay-at-home dad. I that just may just be a personal thing. I get that he's probably busy and he's taking care of the house and.
But your main
and
thing with
doing
that
all of
is that you're talking about money.
Yeah. And
So you think he should have money?
I don't. I do and I don't. I know. And it's just
Because you wouldn't say that if it was the woman.
Right. Oh, it's so tough. It's hard to say. I don't know, man. It's just weird. Maybe it's just weird for me because there's just no way I could not be a stay-at-home dad without like feeling like I need to be doing something.
Like you're letting your wife down type deal.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be
Your family.
Yeah, my personality, I couldn't just stay at the house and just take care of the house.
Yeah.
Like that just couldn't be me. I would have to be doing something productive, outside of the house. I would just have to.
Yeah.
But that's just my personality where I always want to be doing something, so that maybe that's just me personally. I think there's definitely some guys out there that they're a stay-at-home dad because they're lazy and they don't want to do anything. So I think there's definitely that out there. Do I know if it's like more or less? No, I have no idea. But honestly, I don't know a stay-at-home dad.
It's all of them.
Yeah, it's all of them. So I don't know one stay-at-home dad. So that
may be like if you knew the person and you saw
Right.
the situation instead of just from never meeting anybody that does it.
Sure, yeah.
Probably
So-
be different.
So there's that, and I could definitely see if a guy stayed at home, but then he wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna take care of the kids, but kids eventually grow up, So maybe if he was like a carpenter dad too, and he also did home improvements at the same time, and he did the yard work and all of that. So maybe I'd be like, okay, well, I mean, that just gives you more time to do all of that, and I get that. But if it was just like, oh, I'm a dad.
What if he? I guess technically you're stuck on the money thing. I was gonna say, what if he was like because you said Home Improvement, it reminded me of Tim Allen in that show.
Right.
What if he just did a TV show once a week and he made enough money for the whole week and just could stay home?
Well, then that's just genius. That's just good thinking, though. Because
That's being a man.
Yeah. Well, if we as men could figure out a way
What
to
if he
work
was lazy the rest of the week?
to work, then he needs to get off his butt and do something.
But if he makes the money and he's breadwinner, does that give him the right?
There's no scenario like that in real life.
You don't know.
There might be, but I don't know everybody. But then why is he not using that time to make his other that one thing just even better?
You can be lazy and be successul in something.
I get it. I'm lazy sometimes
one day
too.
that money will probably not be there. But
I get it. No, I get it because I'm not saying like because I'm lazy. There's a lot of times throughout the week like I'm lazy for sure because I'll be like, oh god, I just worked 8 hours today. Woke up at 4:30. Been at work since from like 4:30 or from 5 o'clock all the way up until 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and that's the days that I'm not having to work overtime to take care of stuff. So when I get home, I'm hot. I'm tired.
You bothered?
Yeah, I'm hot and bothered.
Girl,
you don't know what these sweaty jeans do to me.
that's my man.
It's that denim.
It's funny. The guy that I told you is coming Monday,
Yeah.
passing through from San Antonio.
Yeah.
I think his oldest son's name is Denim.
Oh yeah.
He didn't name it. They're adopted, but he didn't
Nice.
name him. But I thought it was funny.
Middle name would have been Levi's or Wrangler. Denim
Wrangler.
Wrangler. Oh man.
Well, let us know what you think a man is. Hashtag the bearded cactus.
What is your idea of a man? Am I wrong? Should I be more soft on the stay-at-home dads? Are they really our nation's heroes? Or
Probably.
should they just like go get a job and actually do something? I don't know. I'm not saying if you can find a way to make money but only have to work for once a week, I think that's great. That's a great idea because now you've created a financial freedom for yourself. You can spend more time with your family, be more involved in their lives, and build a deeper relationship with you, which is hard work. So you can't be lazy at that because if you are lazy at that, then relationships are going to fall and you're going to end up like me and not wanting to apologize for stuff. So, I get it. So that's work. That's for sure work. It's sometimes it is a physical work, but it's a lot of spiritual work too. A lot of growth happens.
Check out thebeardedcactus.com. The Bearded Cactus
Bearded
fan
Cactus.
page on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes.
Look us up on YouTube.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Boom. You can also email us. If you have questions and you don't want it to be out in public, you can email us at thebeardedcactuspodcast@gmail.com. And we will answer without names.
Yes.
We will answer your questions on our podcast. And we will see you next week.
11-pound python.
11-pound python. There it is. He made an appearance. See you later.
Later, guys.